Let's get started, family. What we're talking about tonight, we're talking about CHAMPVA healthcare benefits. And to be able to qualify for these benefits, you have to be 100% have a 100% permanent and total rating. Sorry about my voice, okay? Just like with Chapter 35 educational benefits, you must have a permanent and total rating. Permanent meaning a static, total mean that you're paid at the 100% rate. Let us continue. He's saying it sounds good too. Thank you. We don't want to go through the whole broadcast, not the case. So what are we covering here? So we're going to define what CHAMPVA is, describe the program. We're going to let you know who qualifies and what are the benefits. We're going to cover the benefits, what's not covered. If you have certain type of ailments or conditions, what's not covered. How to choose a doctor and how to apply and we're going to give you the contact information. All right, that's what we're going to do here. So let's keep it going. We're already into the business. Now, the first thing, as we said, we're going to define what CHAMPVA is. CHAMPVA healthcare program, it covers medical costs for spouses and children of veterans with a 100%, got a little something flying around in my face, family, so I apologize. Of veterans with a 100% permanent and total VA disability rating and certain primary family caregivers. If you got a caregiver, let us know. Give us a 1 in the chat because they may qualify also for CHAMPVA. All right? Now let us know. So that's the first thing is we defined it. All right? We got Benny in the house and we're glad that you're here, brother. And everybody's saying hi to each other. And that is wonderful. Now let us continue. Now remember, this is federally funded. This is a federal healthcare program. So it's not by the state, it's by the federal government. All right, that funds the program. That's why you see so many of the VA representatives from the healthcare and the VA benefits administration going before Congress because they are the ones that fund it. They give the money to the VA. So this is a federal, whether you go into the hospital, emergency room, or even, and this we're talking about dependents, even for choosing your doctor. Now, as we said, its actual name is the Civilian Health and Medical Program, which, all the acronym letters is CHAMPVA. Let me make it full screen so I can see it better. Now, remember, we talked a lot about the Secretary of the VA, our Secretary of the VA, and he's been vocal, the most recent one right now. But he's responsible for all three programs. The VA programs are broken up into 3 departments or groups. You have the Veterans Benefit Administrations, the VBA. You have the Veterans Healthcare Administration, the VHA. Okay, and then you have the National Cemetery Administration, the NCA. So these are all programs, but today we're talking about the VA healthcare program because they are the one that sponsor CHAMPVA. That's why many times dependents can actually go to the VA hospital. This is not always the case. They can go to the VA hospital and VA clinics. Sometimes they change it, so you have to check with your local VA. Now, like we said, it's a federal healthcare benefits program for eligible beneficiaries and veterans. VA shares the cost of certain healthcare services and supplies. Now, if you have other insurance, they're going to bill them first. VA will act as a rider. We're going to go over that in a separate video. So if you have other health insurance, We're going to cover that in another video. So they will pay first and the VA will pay whatever they didn't pay, but you'll have nothing out of pocket. Now we got our brother in here, Harold, USMC, United States Marine Corps. Good evening, family. Thank you for joining us, brother. Now, here, the VA, as we said, the VA shares the cost of certain healthcare services and supplies. Now, Veteran Healthcare Administration processes VA applications and medical claims, determines eligibility, and authorizes benefits. So as you can see, this is handled through the VHA, the Veterans Healthcare Administration, all right, which run the hospital, VA hospitals and the VA clinics. And this is another one of their responsibilities. So family, we're going to break it all the way down to you here. We ain't here to give you no garbage. We're here to give you the truth. Those of you that come in here looking for something else, you want to just be told the same old foolishness over, there's other places for you. Here, we're putting out the real knowledge. And nobody, you notice, ain't nobody come up here and say, hey, you told me this, but it's not true. A lot of times people are not looking for truth. They're looking for attention. So let us continue, family. Now we're going to define the terms. You often hear terms when you're talking about VA benefits, whether they're VA hospital benefits, CHAMPVA benefits, Chapter 35 benefits, or VA compensation benefits. And adding, so we often hear terms beneficiary, child, dependent, sponsor, service-connected, spouse, and widow or widower. Now, the beneficiary. What is a beneficiary? CHAMPVA eligible spouse, widower or widow, or child. Those are the groups. Now, you can add on to that dependent parents, okay? You know, just want you to know that. Now, but generally, these are the three groups. Spouses or spouses who have lost their sponsor. Now, then what does child mean when you hear it? Includes birth, adopted, stepchild, or helpless child. Okay? So birth we refer to as biological children. So you want to be real careful because what category your child falls in can affect whether they get the benefit, what the rules are for them getting the benefit. So you got to be real careful. We're going to break that down tonight. Now, dependent is a child, spouse, or widower of a qualifying sponsor. So what is a sponsor? A sponsor is a veteran with a permanently and total disability from a service-connected disability. Let me read that again. Veteran with permanent totally disabled from a service-connected disability. Now, what is service-connected? Veteran illness or injury related to military service determined by the VA. Not just saying, hey, I got hurt, so I should get it. The VA have to determine that you got the injury from your service in the military, and it has to be permanent and total. Now, what is a spouse? A wife or husband or a let me say it again, a wife or husband of a qualifying sponsor. Let me take these headsets out. Now, what is a widow or widower? Surviving spouse of a qualifying sponsor. So the sponsor becomes deceased, so they may qualify also. We're going to go over all these categories. That's why we're getting right into it tonight, all right? Yes, indeed. So family, glad that y'all are here. Now, who is eligible? Now we're going on number 2. We've defined it in number 1. Now we're going to go on number 2. I'm just going to pull up some of the chat. So we want it to be on the recording. You know, I can't say, let me start down here. I ain't got time to say it, but I want everybody to know that everybody's greeting. And I got to stop. Hold on. Wait a minute. I was about to mention Love. That's what I was going to use him as an example. So thank you for coming in. Listen, I wanted y'all to understand this, that if it's somebody like Love, that's in good standing and come, or Sister Gwendolyn, you can talk about them. I'm talking about people that have not been here, that's not participating, that's not supporting. That's the people that have not agreed to the rules. Those are the people we don't talk about. Everybody show love to love. So glad that you're here. Now, this might affect you directly, love, because I think you may qualify for CHAMPVA under your father, because he's in one of those positions, family. Which one of those categories, the terms we define? Helpless child. That is love. And we're so glad that love say just arrived. I'm feeling better already. Do y'all hear the excitement in my voice? It's not even payday no more, and I'm still happy. Family, come on. Now, so we're going to talk about who's eligible. Okay, there's different groups. Who is eligible? Spouse or widower, and we just defined those terms, and children of a veteran who is not eligible for Department of Defense TRICARE benefit. So you can't, if you qualify for TRICARE as a dependent of a retiree, military retiree, you won't qualify for CHAMPVA. You automatically got to go with TRICARE. Well, now here we go. Veterans and active duty member requirements, because other people can qualify too. Let's go. Our main group that we're talking about are 100% permanent total disabled veterans. But permanently and total disabled veterans, service-connected disability rating by the VA. So if you got that, you qualify. Your dependents qualify, in other words, not the veteran themselves. Died from a VA-related service-connected disability of any rating. It could be between 0 and 100%. So if you have Agent Orange and you're service-connected for Agent Orange at a 0% rating and pass, your dependents can get CHAMPVA. Now, get into the details, but that's pretty much generally how it goes from what I'm gathering. If y'all hear anything else, let me know. Now, rated 100% permanent total for a service-connected disability at the time of their death. So if the veteran was rated at 100% permanent total when they died, that's really a kind of a 10-year rule. It should be okay. They straight. Yeah, at the time of death. Now, next, died in the line of duty. So those dependents, they will qualify for CHAMPVA. Now let me go back to the one talking about rated 100% permanent and total. Now I'm assuming that if they're rated at 100% permanent total when they died, a veteran, their dependents can get the Chapter 35. I mean, the CHAMPVA. They may not get the what do you call it? The DCI death benefits, death and indemnity compensation, unless they've been married a certain amount of time. So it's a little different with that, unless they've changed it. They have to be married at least, I think, 1 year. And the veteran, if they didn't die from a service-connected disability, they would have had to have it for 10 years. But apparently here with CHAMPVA, it's a little different. You just have to die of the service-connected disability. So listen. Let me see what. Let's see. I ain't got that. Okay, let me start here. Doing good, H-Town. Thank you so much. Good. I'm glad that you're doing good. I'm doing good too. Betty Bob say, love. How are you? I thought you wondered if you were okay. Yeah, wondered you were okay. And I listened to what he said about the DIC death benefits. H-Town, I have my DIC and my father's DIC. Everything's still pending. Okay, they're going to have to pay you back pay on that. So Betty Bob's was saying hello to him. And he says, true, H-Town, my father rated 100% after his death. Yes, indeed. So once you got that, the CHAMPVA comes in automatically. All right. But you keep all this documentation. It's very important. So let us continue, family. Now, college-age children, how are they eligible? So it works like this with college-age students. My daughter actually started getting CHAMPVA when she was, she had it from when I became 100% permanent total. But when she started school, she was actually 17. She started college because she skipped a grade. So it can be at 17. You just have to be out of school. You got to let them know that you're registered in school. Now, listen what he say here. Our brother say, my father died from 2 service-connected disabilities. Now, in those cases, when it comes with death and indemnity, I know that's not what we're talking about tonight. If he died for either one of those conditions, you should be able to get that DIC death benefit compensation. Even if you're not at the 10-year mark, he didn't have 100% permanent total for 10 years, you can still get it, but you need it on the death certificate. So please make sure that they note the condition on the death certificate. Now let's talk about college age children, how they're eligible. Well, child turns, ending date of a child's eligibility for CHAMPVA ends when the child turns 18, unless enrolled in an accredited school. The school has to be accredited. Child who has been a student and turns 23. All right. So now my daughter's almost done, but she's all used up pretty much all of her chapter. Well, no, I'm skipping. We're talking about healthcare here, but yeah, she about to turn 33, but she'll be out of school. Now, brother, I want to say Chief Z4 says, hello, everyone. So love to our brother. Now, this is another one that you need to be real careful with. Child who marries as of midnight on the date of the marriage. So you get married 12 midnight at that day, they lose the benefit. If they get married, if they join the military, they lose the healthcare benefit. Now let's get with it. Let's talk about stepchildren, a special category. Follow me. Stepchild no longer lives in the household of the sponsor. That's when it ends. So if they're not living with you, now follow this here. Let's say you still in good standing with the mom, or y'all still together, or y'all not together. You just need to prove, and you don't mind the child having your benefits because they're a good child. You need to tell them that you help pay for at least half of their benefits. You got to let them know if you do that. Half of their living expenses. They're just in school, but they still live at your house. Okay? Are we breaking it down right? Let me know. Now listen what it said. H-Town, so true. My father had been fighting for the VA for 10 years, over 10 years. And it goes back to your effective date, not when they got the 100% permanent total, the effective date. They may go back 5-6 years, and they're going to start on the effective date. Now, so keep in mind on that stepchild. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Now, let's talk about helpless child and CHAMPVA. Helpless child, a child who became permanently incapable of self-support before 18. So there has to be documented proof that before the child was 18 years of age, that they were totally capable of supporting themselves financially and doing certain other things. This could be a strong physical disability, or it can also be psychological. Now, what will help if that child is already getting Social Security? Okay? And you need to have reports showing that they're a helpless child. And so that's part of it now. But let's read the next one. Has been rated as a helpless child by a VA regional office. Now, that's the next one. Love. I think say helpless child. Have you been rated by the VA as a helpless child, or are you still working on that claim? Let us know. Now, child who marries as of midnight. Okay, now I don't know if that goes with the helpless child. I don't know. I have to check that one. Let's go to the last one. Helpless child are granted eligibility to CHAMPVA with no age limitations. No age limitations. So you can be 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 years old. If you're not able to take care of yourself, you still qualify for CHAMP VA. So he says, our brother say, waiting on a decision, H-Town. The one that's talking about marriage, I don't think marriage affects it. So I do apologize that was a typo, the third one there, so I do apologize. Now, let us continue. I'll check into that. Now, school certification for children between the age of your dependent children between the ages of 18 and 23. Here's the form over here. Once it's completed, you just have to verify with your school. Here's the form. Verify with your school that you're enrolled. This is the student, the dependent, and you should be good for a whole year. And you're gonna have they're gonna send you an up-to-date CHAMP VA card. And like I say, between the ages of 18 and 23. Now let's talk about that divorce. How does that affect CHAMP VA benefits? Let's get into it, family. Now, the impact of divorce and remarriage of spouse on child's eligibility. Now, if it's a biological child, biological children are not affected by the divorce or remarriage of a spouse because it's your biological child. So the fact that you and your spouse divorced, you the sponsor, the veteran, and y'all divorced, she can get married 100 times, he can get married 150 times, it don't matter. You still, the child, because they're your biological child, still keep that benefit. Next, stepchildren when it comes to stepchildren, may be affected by divorce if they leave the sponsor's household. So if they're not under your household anymore as a stepchild, they may lose the benefit. That's why you want to make sure there's documentation that you're still taking care of them and sponsoring them, and that you take care of at least half of their living expenses. This is important because we had a veteran brother who his stepdaughter was going to school, and they called him on a Sunday, talking about he owed the VA. Not on Sunday, on a Saturday. Talking about he owed $10,000 and he need to pay this because the child's not living, the stepchild. But he said, no, he still take care of it, and he straightened that out. Okay? So you need to be on top of these things. That's why we're trying to inform you, and you let others know. Now, when it comes to the marriage, child who marries as of midnight on the date of marriage. Okay. Yes. So if that child marries, they don't have the benefit no more of CHAMP VA. They got to get some other healthcare insurance. So if they married before the age of 23, while they going to school, they no longer got it. Now, stepchild no longer lives in the household. The sponsor, I think I just went over that. Okay. Let us continue, family. Now let's talk about dealing with these benefits when you're 100% permanent total, because you get Chapter 35 in DCI benefits and ain't nobody did. Let's say divorce. So Chapter 35 and educational benefits. Chapter 35 educational benefits and CHAMP VA. Now, let's see what he said here. He says, love, Sage Town. The VA pulled my father's past filings and the claims he had filed and never was awarded until his death. Okay. Now, Bionic Woman says, good evening, Mr. H-Town vet and veteran family. Hope all is well. All is well over here, especially since you showed up and everybody's showing the love. And they're happy to say, good to see you. Hi, love. I was thinking about him today too. Now, love, say, good to see you. Good to be here, Bionic Woman. Now, let us continue. If you're 100% permanent total, what happened to your benefits? Let's talk about it. Well, a lot of stuff they cut in half depending on the state you're in. You cut the cake in half, cut the house in half, the vehicles in half. But what about them VA benefits? Do they get cut in half? Now, the end of the marriage, this is how it works. It's real simple when it comes to marriage. Okay? Very simple. When the marriage ends, let's talk spouse being eligible for CHAMPVA ends with the termination of the marriage to the qualifying sponsor by an annulment or divorce, either one. Now, when exactly does it end? CHAMPVA benefits ends 12 midnight on the day of the final divorce decree. So once it happens that day, the coverage for CHAMPVA healthcare ends 12 midnight. Okay? Yes, indeed. Now, let us continue, family. Remember, you need that divorce decree. The date on that divorce decree will be the determining factor, not you just telling the VA. You need to turn the documentation in showing the last day that y'all were actively married. Because you might have to pay back some money, or they might have to pay back some money. If they still getting the healthcare stuff and they say, hey, they wasn't covered under that time, that could be headaches and problems. You get me? And you get that overpayment, and your ex-spouse might just, say, hey, it's cool. I'm all right. Because sometimes, like I say, they say, well, hey, you gotta cover yourself. You gotta take care of your own business. Now, what about a widow or widower? Let's talk about it, family. Let's talk about widower or widow. What happens when 100% permanent total veteran dies and the family was getting CHAMPVA healthcare? What happens? Now, when it comes to widow, I'm just say widow right now. It could be both widow or widower. Remarriage before the age of 55 is the issue. They get the benefit, but if they remarry before the age of 55, the eligibility for CHAMPVA ends if the widow or widower marries prior to the age of 55. Now, let's say that second marriage don't make it. Termination of the remarriage. So you, after the vet dies, you with them until they die, but you got with somebody new, lost the CHAMPVA. Now, so your new marriage, you get a divorce, termination of remarriage. A widow or widower of a qualifying sponsor who remarries and remarriage is later terminated by death, divorce, or annulment may reestablish CHAMPVA benefits eligibility. So basically what we're saying here is that if you with someone after you marry someone after your spouse, your sponsor passes, if that relationship breaks up because you die, that person dies, you can get CHAMPVA again. If you divorce that person, you can get CHAMPVA again. If there's an annulment because of some shady business, you can get CHAMPVA again. All you have to do is reapply. Now, let's talk about the impact and remarriage on spouses. We continue. I think that's the same slide. I thought I had got that slide out of there. I'm so sorry. Now, healthcare benefits. Let's talk about the benefits themselves. Family, I told you we're going to break it down. We took our time. This took a lot of work for CHAMPVA. What's covered? Doctor's office visits, prescriptions. You can even use, how many of y'all use that the VA phone? You can call up your telemeds. You can use that because my daughter be having a telemed card, I think. Same one we order medicines through, she can do that too. Prescriptions, labs, radiology services, dual medical equipment, hospital services, both inpatient and outpatient settings, including emergency room visits. Now, follow what I'm telling you here, Okay? It says mental health care. So if you get mental health care, that doesn't necessarily mean all therapy, and we're going to break that down. Mental health care, 23 outpatient visits per year before pre-authorization is needed. So meaning you can go there automatically with no problem. Now, once you had 23, you're going to have to get authorization through the VA to justify more, okay? That's for the dependents of the sponsor, the 100% disabled veteran. Now, other things, inpatient, outpatient care, family planning, maternity care, hospice care. So I'm assuming if your wife gets pregnant, because the men can't get pregnant, and she's your dependent, they can take care of. Or if they're in hospice, where in the life services, that's covered too. Hospital services, both inpatient, outpatient settings, including emergency room visits. I think I covered this, didn't I? Hold on. I think I covered this. Sorry. I don't know how I got both of them slides. But I guess it's dealing with mainly the, I think I covered some. I'm sorry about that again. Now, what's not covered? What's not covered? Let's talk about it. What's not covered? CHAMPVA does not cover most dental care, including dentures and partial dentures. They don't cover routine eye exams, glasses, or laser eye surgery, which is a bummer because people have cataracts, right? We talked about that during Black History Month. Routine hearing exams, not covered. Tell me if y'all have heard of this before. Give me a Y in the chat if you've heard of health club memberships. What is a health club membership? Give us a Y if you've heard of it in the chat. If you haven't, give us an N for no. Or you can say yes or no. Other things that are not covered. Non-FDA approved drugs. If it's not approved by the FDA, it's not covered. You're going to have to buy that yourself. Long-term care is not covered. So Betty Bops has never heard of it. Our brother Chief hadn't heard of it. Let's see who hadn't heard of it. Betty Bops haven't heard of it. No. Bionic Woman never heard of it. Chief had never heard of it. Love have never heard of it. H-Town, until he did, the research here, I didn't know it myself. So I'm being honest with you. Medicare Part B premiums, not covered. I think I read that one, but long-term care, not covered. Opioid use disorder medicine. So any medications you get for opioid use, not covered. Now listen to what I'm saying here. Even though they cover mental health conditions, they don't cover behavioral health services. So if you have something to deal with behavioral services, like you're in some kind of, I guess, they trying to change your behavior, not covered. But mental health, yes. So make sure you know that it's mental health. Let us continue, family. How do you select a doctor? Well, it's going to be pretty easy. Let's talk about it. You just choose one. All right? You just choose. You call, or you go by the hospital and ask, do they take CHAMPVA? That's it. It used to be this whole list you had to go through. Nah, not so many places is taking it for your dependents. They just need to check, and they'll let you know whether they take it or not. And you're not gonna have to pay no money up front. They're gonna bill the VA. In the VA, if there's any other pay you gotta pay, they're gonna tell you. They don't charge you nothing. My daughter been using, they ain't charging nothing. Supposed to pay a $50 fee after something every year. I better be quiet. My daughter ain't never had to pay none of that. So you choose your doctor. So that's very good. Now this is why it's almost, and what y'all think? We veterans need health care like this where we can go around like that. Don't you think so? Let us know how y'all feel about that. But that's a simple thing. Just choose, make sure they take CHAMPVA. How to apply. So how do you apply? Let's talk about it. So you just need to contact them. You can do it by email, by phone, and via the internet. Or you can get their location and mail them something. Let's talk about it. So they're out of Colorado, the office that handles CHAMPVA. They're out of Colorado. So all you need to do, if you need to contact them, you can send them by mail, because you're going to have to send them something. From what I remember, even though you might be permanent total, you got to send them something showing that you're permanent total for your dependents to get it. And you send it to the Veterans Healthcare Administration, CHAMPVA, P.O. Box 469069, Denver, Colorado 80246-9063. And you always verify, make sure they haven't changed the address. Okay? Call them and see what other stipulations that they have. Now, what if you want to contact them by phone? You contact them by phone Mondays through Fridays at 8:05 to 7:30 p.m. Well, 8:05 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. But times may change, so check. That's what it is at the time of this video. And here's their telephone number. The CHAMPVA telephone number is right here. Now, you said that I got the letter from the CHAMPVA. Did they say you qualified? Did they send you, or what did they say? What, did they approve it or deny it? Now, we got Brother Kevin in the house. Say, good evening, veteran family. I am celebrating our anniversary in Nashville this weekend. You've been busy, so everybody congratulate. How many years has it been, brother? Let us know. How many years? And love, let me know about that. Let me know, did they approve or deny what the letter was saying that you, because you should have, if you were approved, you should have your ID card. Love, say hello, Kevin. Yes, everybody congratulate Kevin on his anniversary. That's the number for CHAMPVA right there. Now, here's the website that you can go to. It's right here. It deals with community care also, because they can qualify for CHAMPVA,